Campus is another one we're talking about. Is like where are the men in this piece? Both in terms of like the men in our world, our personal world, the women of Troy storyline, and then the men in the audience. Like, how do they fit in? How do they connect? Because we've talked about it, but we haven't been specific about it.
We're kind of communicating to the men without directly, in some ways.
I feel like there's not a lot of moments where I feel like I'm communicating to men. I feel like I'm talking to a room of women a lot of the time. Because they're the allies.
Yeah, but
I don't
I'm very happy to men to see it. I mean, if they get,
I agree.
I don't know. I feel like it's. I wouldn't say that it's more important, but it's like same importance that both of them get it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what strategy to
I think
use.
the thing is thinking about how we want the audience to, what kind of is our aim, not how we want them to feel, but what's kind of our, maybe it is how do we want them to feel, and kind of is there a differentiation between how the men are feeling and how the women are feeling, and do we want there to be? I think that just needs to be.
For example, when we had so many men in the audience the second time at school, I was feeling much more the presence. I was feeling much more the presence of the men that I was feeling like the women understand this, but I want the men to understand this.
Yeah.
I was like assuming that the women understand it straight and the men at the city shop understand it.
Yeah, or sort of had to work through their initial. I think the men go through this really interesting journey in the piece, probably where they pull back at first and go and feel defensive or feel guilty or feel whatever it is that kind of distances them from the work, and then hopefully there are points that either that wears off, which I don't think it's long enough for it to, or they find other entry points into it, and maybe we have a responsibility to present more entry points to allow them to break through that distance.
It's interesting though, because if you look at I agree with you on the endpoint thing, but if you look at the material we have, it's feminist material, but it's not anti-male. Like there's nothing that apart from when Tanya is talking, which is obscured by music, about being like dressing herself down to be a man and like that. We don't actually actively like bitch about men.
No. Yeah, we don't say, oh, I put on my red lipstick in the morning to wash the tide because of men. Yeah. But I think there's a sort of implication,
Because it's more like, sorry. It's more almost a go at women, because it's like women.
Yeah, it's a bit of a call to arms.
So I feel like there is entry points because we don't. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, it's not like this is an anti-male show. It's just a pro-female show.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
If it does make sense.
I also don't think we ever really kind of talk